Hello right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a 7 Days to Die update video. Guys, I've been keeping you in the loop with what's going on with the situation for console updates for this game for the last, well, 3-4 years really, giving you news information when there's a brand new update and then anything else that comes with it. Of course, I have been keeping you up to date what's going on when TellTale, the publisher that owns the rights to 7 Days to Die console, actually went under last year. You pretty much look up TellTale 7 Days to Die console update or court case and you'll see my videos pretty much up there. I just mention that because I want people to know I really have best intentions when covering this. I don't milk it. I haven't been making every video every single week. Maybe I should, because these videos get thousands and thousands of views because the game is so popular and so many players want to know what's going on with updates for console. So we've got brand new news today talking about TellTale's games, the publisher, and what that could mean for 7 Days to Die. In brief, 7 Days to Die, the publishing rights are owned by TellTale Games on console. Fun Pimps, the creators of 7 Days to Die, were running a little bit low on cash. They decided to sell the rights nearly wholesale to 7 Days to Die to the TellTale publisher. So TellTale basically gave it port over to Iron Galaxy, a development company, and they basically made 7 Days to Die for Xbox and PS4. It also meant that 7 Days to Die became one of the most successful games TellTale Publishing actually ever produced, matching what their first season of The Walking Dead did and outselling any other of their other games. Game of Thrones, the Batman, Wolf Among Us. You think of any other TellTale game, 7 Days to Die actually did better. It sold millions of copies on Xbox and PS4, hence why so many people want info. So, what's happening today? Well, TellTale Games officially announced a couple of days ago that they're almost back in business, but not how you imagine. The rights for this were sold basically in April. Again, I'll let you guys know in a video talking about it. And I guess it's taken this long to finish off and finalise a few more details. Now, the rest of the media world is focused on the games like The Wolf Among Us and some of the other franchises and properties, which I couldn't give two monkeys about really. I wasn't a big fan of TellTale Games. I wanted to get into them, I really did, but they just didn't really sit with me that well. Nevertheless, TellTale Games basically sold or were bought the rights for its name and some of its properties. Some of the properties went back to their original owners, so Minecraft IP went back to Mojang and Microsoft. The Walking Dead IP went back to Skybound and Robert Kirkman, the creator. There's been some various other franchises that have all gone back to their basically owners, which is kind of what you'd expect. The company didn't wholesale own every game right, but just in lots of these situations it owned the rights to publish for maybe a few years. So a company called LCG Entertainment has bought the name of TellTale Games and any remaining properties under that banner. Its back catalogue and a parcel of its intellectual properties. It announced plans to make use of the studio's signature adventure game design tools to pursue some of TellTale's former third-party licenses and to hire former TellTale staff. So people may be thinking this is good news. If TellTale come back into business, if they start making games again, and if they still own the rights to 7 Days to Die, they can go ahead and find a development team to start porting over the updates from PC to console. But this is where it pretty much gets worse for console players. LGC Entertainment is pretty much a bit of a janky company. They're run by two industry veterans who really haven't worked on anything you know or remember. Biggest claim to fame, one of them being the director or owner of the company that made the Duck Dynasty games. A shed ton of mobile games, and the other guy that runs this company is in charge of the Havoc engine, which is used to make a bunch of different games. What this really is a company basically buying the dead bones of TellTale Games, keeping its names just in case they want to sell it on later, or possibly connive or come up with some sort of collector's edition of one of their games. It's not out of the realms of possibility, but with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet coming, also maybe even something like Google Stadia, they could try and leverage some sort of clout, maybe polish up a couple of their games a little bit, whack another 1080p HD remake over it, and sell it on some of the next platforms. That's where they're hoping to make money. The chances of them actually making new content, maybe making season 2 of The Wolf Among Us or another Batman season, are very, very dim indeed. They just don't seem to be that type of company, although they say they're hiring people and they do have the technology. That's what part of their buying the technology was. It's more a case of being a bit of a cash grab and owning the rights so they can sell them or possibly get lucky one day. Not a good look for these games. It really does not mean they're going to be returning in any way, shape or form. Polygon got a second article. They were the ones that broke this story originally with an interview with the guys. And although they're claiming they're hiring 8 to 10 people and they want to get to 30 by the end of the year, I really don't think that's going to be happening that often. And a lot of people are very skeptical as well. Industry insiders, news journalists, pretty much everyone is seeing this for what it is. The bones of a brand being bought and sold on pretty much, or kept as some sort of ransom, just in case someone does want to make a game on it in the future. So there you go, little bit of story, little bit of news of what's going on right now. What does it mean for 7 Days to Die? I have been pretty critical with the Fun Pimps, the original owners of 7 Days to Die. I feel like they really haven't maybe made the best decisions in the past for their own game and name. And although they have tried, supposedly in their words, their best to get the console rights back, we still haven't actually had any clear communication, whether or not that involved a court case, whether it involved them just having meetings. There is no proof or evidence to say that the Fun Pimps are actually doing anything other than sending a couple of emails to the prospective buyers. The auction happened in April. During that time, Stranded Deep, another game that was left in the lurch by TellTale's collapsing, they managed to buy their rights back. They was about to release their game on Xbox and PlayStation literally a couple of weeks. But just before that happened, TellTale's games collapsed and it's taken them the best part of nearly a year to come back. That game is scheduled to come out at some point in the next few months. And they've got a brand new publisher who they'll be joint publishing the game with. Skybound Games managed to get the Walking Dead rights back pretty quickly, and they even managed to finish off the rest of the Walking Dead final season. Netflix got their rights back, which they'd launched out or loaned out, including the Minecraft as well, that got put back to Microsoft. So why couldn't Fun Pimps, the 7 Days to Die developers, get their rights back? And why did they have to wait until April? Why didn't they buy them? So this is pretty much what some of my videos have covered in the past. Spoke a lot about the court case, and one of the scenarios I mentioned there was that someone else is going to buy the rights to the 7 Days to Die franchise, and they're refusing to sell to the Fun Pimps. Well, not for a cheap price anyway. I think it's pretty clear that the new owners, they want to keep the 7 Days to franchise, or they certainly want to get more money for it. As I've stated, it was their best, most popular selling game alongside The Walking Dead Season 1. A game they had literally no involvement in hiring dev teams to actually work on it directly, just pulling it out to another company. In terms of work, in terms of the stuff they had to do for it, it's probably the easiest money that TellTale Games company ever made. And of course, if it sold millions of copies, that means there's still some money to be had. So these new owners have got the license for 7 Days to Die. They want to do something with it, but of course, they need Fun Pimps to probably give them a lot more money than Fun Pimps are willing to offer. Or, scenario B, Fun Pimps and this new company are going to come to an arrangement. It's taken time to iron some stuff out, and behind the scenes, they just didn't want to reveal or release anything until this news broke. The Fun Pimps have been pretty silent. They didn't want to get any hopes up. And that would be the most positive view of the silence that they've had for the last 9 months. Things will go back to normal, how they used to be. The Fun Pimps will additionally sell extra rights for updates to whoever owns the 7 Days to Die brand on console. So it will be TellTale Games Publishing, led by LCG. And we could see updates return once more. Third scenario is that LCG just simply don't want to sell. They don't want to do anything with the 7 Days to Die brand yet. They may be thinking they can find another development team to take it forward completely. Maybe even create a sequel, call it the complete edition, get another team to work on it, make it go in a completely different direction. That is a distinct possibility. I do have to assume that not everyone has watched my other videos, but just in case, and just for some people that aren't in the know, of course, 7 Days to Die, the original game, of course, is still owned by the Fun Pimps on PC. LCG or anyone else are never going to be able to talk or dictate and say what they're doing. It's definitely distinct and separate from console, because them console rights were sold on. But I still think it's in the realm possibility that someone could possibly go with these rights, the console rights, and decide to reverse engineer, find the code, take the time to go through it all and produce something like a sequel, or wait until the next population of Xbox and Ps4s come and then re-put it out as the next upgraded ultimate 7 Days to Die. From what I can hear though, the Fun Pimps own the original code, and so when they do the updates for the game, they're basically selling the updates to the TellTale's games. That's what happens in the past, and sometimes that's why I think it was a bit slow. Not only were the Fun Pimps too busy working on PC to sort out the code to send to Iron Galaxy, the port team working for TellTale, Maybe TellTale were obviously running out of money as well. They were a company in trouble. They weren't paying their staff correctly. There were all sorts of shenanigans going on. And so maybe they weren't doing the right business decisions in getting the updates done. They were making things hard or difficult for Iron Galaxy. Just to chuck that in a little bit there for everyone. The Fun Pimps said that they were terminating their agreement with 7 Days to Die publishing rights with TellTale when all this happened last year. That made it distinctly seem like Fun Pimps have always had the cards in their hands and they would control the destiny of it on console as well as PC. But clearly that didn't work as well as they intended. Again, I've gone over all of this, but obviously they couldn't get it resolved and they were told to wait until April when the rest of the merchandise, the brand names were all going to be put up for auction. The best case scenario is that the Fun Pimps do actually find the money to pay off the brand new owners of TellTale. They get the rights back themselves and they start updating the game. Even though it might take longer, they could be in a situation where they would be able to do something like that. Or at least find another company like Iron Galaxy to help them port it. And the worst situation out of everything is they don't come to an agreement. The Fun Pimps have actually not bothered trying to get the rights back because they're too expensive. And so console updates will never happen and we won't see any future progress with the game, with the only real progress being made if you bought the PC version. That's currently where I see it right now. As I'm recording this, the creator 7 Days to Die can easily publish and talk about updates happening with the PC version of the game. But in 9 months has only briefly mentioned once on a live stream that the console updates were a problem, an issue. It was complicated and there were some legal issues, and that the only way to really play the content was on PC. A lot of you guys agree with my takes on this throughout the time. I've tried giving you the facts, but also give you what I think is going on behind the scenes. But there is definitely a portion of you that disagree and feel that I'm being quite harsh on the Fun Pimps. That it's not been their fault that all this went down and that they are trying their best. The problem I have with that, of course, though, is that we really don't know they're trying their best because they haven't released any information in the 9 months. If there has been a court case involving them and the brand new owners, LCG, you are allowed to mention there was something going on. Gagging orders and this idea that things are hidden and hidden away is complete and utter nonsense. Especially in America where everything can be reported on pretty much. For sure, there is always time sensitive stuff. There is stuff that is not disclosable to the public. But if this had actually gone through a court process, we would have known by now. And it would have been something they'd been talking about. So this idea that the Fun Pimps have gone to court and they've been fighting hard, I call bullshit. What they've actually done, from what I can tell, is they waited until the sale, hopefully thought they could buy the rights cheaply, but were trumped by this LCG company. Since then, the LCG company have maybe playing hardball, and maybe they are still in discussion with Fun Pimps, and we could see a resolution soon. It's clear LCG, as pointed out, have said they're going to sell on some of their back catalogue and come up with new deals for future games. So if that's been happening, I can maybe understand a little bit of silence. But as this has only really just come to light now, and the auction happened in April, I still find it amazing that the Fun Pimps just haven't kept the community involved. Even if there's no news to say, a tweet once a month, a post on the forums every couple months is better than absolute silence. This is what leads to YouTubers like me having to try and fill the gaps. And yeah, I could get lots of stuff wrong. And of course, when they start bringing my opinion into it, I'm going to piss off some people. But ultimately, it's on the game devs not to go silent. Communicate with your fans. Communicate with the fans that helped shore up your development on PC. That basically ensured that you have a game to actually update. If you don't know, the Fun Pimps were in a bit of trouble. Hence why they sold their rights so cheaply to TellTale, and why they didn't really see any money back off any of the future console sales. TellTale owned it pretty much stock, lock and barrel. You can check this by going over their sales data from a few years ago. So there we go. That's where we are with the situation right now. I personally think it's probably a worse thing at the moment. I think the Fun Pimps don't have a bunch of money. They've been developing their game for 6 years on PC and there's still no actual release date for it. That's the only time they're going to generate any real big new additional people coming in. They've had their big update, and while it did prompt a little bit of an influx of new players, that number has started to go back down again. Make no mistake, 7 Days to Die is a huge game. It never reviewed well when it was on Xbox and PS4. It was called a completed game, despite the fact it had so many bugs, problems and issues, and still does. But you can clearly see the actual run of the game, the amount of people that are on it, is pretty much where it was before the big update. But these numbers are pretty good still. Lots of games would kill to have 12 to 15,000 players on their game every month. And I reckon there's at least that on Xbox and PlayStation as well. Trouble is, game's been out so long, it's been in so many sales, they're not probably generating as much money as they could. So big updates mean more word of mouth gets around, more people want to give the game a try, and more people will buy it. And of course release dates also do that too. Lots of games when they come out of early access will see a massive bump in sales. So I just don't see Fun Pimps having enough money, and I think that's the reason why we've not heard anything. They don't want to outrightly say that they couldn't afford to buy the rights from LCG because it makes them look like they just didn't try it hard enough. Or we may see something happen. Let me know in the comment section, do you firmly believe that the Fun Pimps have been trying to resolve this with LCG and we'll see some sort of update about the situation soon? Or this just means that, yep, another company owns the rights to a game that just no one is going to care about in a year's time. If I get any follow-up to this, I will let you guys know. And I am going to be working on a timeline video just talking about the updates for console, the situation with TellTale, putting all the facts that I can gather, all the information that I've previously shown from all the videos in one single concurrent clear video so that someone who's coming along will get more of an idea and hopefully get some answers. I'm sending out a bunch of emails to the new LCG company to see if they even have the rights. We're presuming this is the situation, but they may not have been the ones that bought it. It may be something else, and that's why it's even more complicated. I also want to work on a video showing you guys the differences between the console and the PC, really go in there and see whether or not we want this update, whether or not it's actually going to be something decent for majority of players on console already. There is still a little bit of blowback against the last update on PC right now. I am JPG, I give you news about survival, reviews, news, guides and gameplay. Make sure you've got a notification bell on and I'll see you rat bags later.